Okay, so I give it a quick wipe down with a brush. The bottom tray on it has a hole in the one corner here. So I got an old aluminum baking sheet I just stuck in there for now. I'll probably actually end up patching the tray. Shouldn't be too hard to do, and I got a friend who's got a working welder. I have a welder, I'm not sure if mine works. It's been in storage for quite some time. Anyway, got the old starter gig here out. Split a little bit of kindling. Got a few little nubs for the bottom of that. Grab some small sticks for smaller kindling. Got a piece of paper bag and a nice stockpile of wood. So I'm going to give it a test fire and see what it does, how it does. Also, just notice I went around with a leaf blower and cleared out a big area, cleared out underneath the stairs, just for fire hazard reasons, so we don't have any concerns about fire. Didn't want a bunch of dry leaves catching. So I realized that these other ones are too long to really fit into this, and frankly I probably will not use this for starting fires in here. I probably just will build a fire in it. That's easy enough to do, but I thought I'd play around with this thing. Besides, who doesn't want a bracing hot mug of fire? Alright, let's do it. Here we go. Just basically took a layer to the bottom with the paper and let it rip. It is a nice way to contain all your material and set up a fire to light quick. I'll say that. Once we get some of those little cherry pieces going, we'll dump the coals down onto the coal bed and build some of this other kindling in on it. So I will say that's lighting up pretty quick, so that's pretty cool. Maybe this is the way to start a fire. Definitely set up for good airflow and all. Basically a rocket stove without any output controls or way to direct heat. Heck, you could stick a grill on top of that and cook pretty easy. Get a coal base going in it. Thin steel would probably burn out fairly quick, but watching this makes me want to build some new rocket stoves. Alright, so those cherry chunks are starting to get going now. That's good. I'll let them go another minute or two here, and then I'll dump down onto the grate. Alright, there we go. That's pretty fast and effective. I'm impressed. Of course, I guess we should remember that this is actually designed for charcoal. Anyway, just want to basically test fire it today and just burn it out clean. I wiped most of the spider webs out, but I'm sure there's still a few things in here. Ooh. Sorry. Sure, there's still a few things in here, cocoon or two. So I'm just going to burn everything clean, and then we'll see about cooking something on it. I have a delicata squash inside. I could grill, that would be good. Have to rummage around and see what else is available. Alright, that's it for now. Alright, so got a round on each end, so we'll basically have a hot bed in the center here. Be off cooler off on the sides. Should give a nice wide cooking range, and two big round logs should help keep a coal going, so you can leave it, let it drop to a smoke temperature, and then if you want to come back and crank it up and cook a steak or something like that to finish off, you just throw a few more kindling pieces on, rock and roll. That's my theory. We'll see how it all works. And with cherry, we should get a real nice flavor. Cherry smoke makes for awesome flavor. Red-winged blackbirds are coming through, migrating south. Well, let's just say this. I definitely overfueled it because it's only been like maybe 5 minutes and we're over 400. And I got it throttled back on the air inlets. I do have the chimney open, but I think we'll scale that back now. Well, we're almost at 500, so can definitely make lots of heat. I'm going to spread these out a bit to slow this down. How do you like your steak? Charcoal, please. Yeah, I put way too much fuel in. I may end up soaking a few cherry logs to saturate them and slow the burn down a bit and get more like a charcoal effect with them. I haven't done this in a box in a really long time, so I'll have to play around a bit and get fine-tuned. Just reminds me that this is really designed for charcoal, so we'll have to adapt how we do things. That's alright though. That's the fun. Alright, it was just cranking hotter and hotter, so I splashed some water on it to slow things down a bit, get us back down to a coal state. I'll probably splash a little bit more on it to slow it down, and then I'm going to take a few logs and soak in the water for a few hours, and a few of the split pieces too. We'll see how they perform in a couple hours. But success, definitely burned up hot and clean, and it works good. It's going to be fun to cook on once I tune it in and tweak it. Okay, added some more water, it's been about 5 minutes. That's a little bit better. Sitting around 300, slow burn. I think I'm also going to clip some green hickory this afternoon, and maybe I can use some green hickory as a sprinkle in to help slow things down and add flavor to it. Hickory has such an awesome smell, especially when it's got a little bit of moisture in it still. Oh man. Well, there's a reason they hickory smoke things, right? Alright, those are in for now. And this is climbing again as I thought it would as that fire kind of evolves. But I think we got a small enough amount of fuel spread out far enough that it'll burn across slow, and those round logs will definitely slow down and kind of coal up, I would think, when they're by themselves. So, making some coffee, and we'll see what happens. Alright, picked up a bottom round roast, 3.5 pounds. Got some ghee butter warmed up, trimmed some fresh rosemary. Gonna mix that in with the ghee butter and stick that in a nice glass dish like so, and baste it with the ghee butter and probably some smoked paprika, and we'll see what other spices I come up with. Then we're gonna cook that on that nice little fire grill out there, and then I'll probably have some of that for dinner, and the rest I'm going to probably smoke on there, and we'll see how I go about that. Still kind of playing around with this smoking thing. It's a new thing for me. Alright, I'm going to stick that back in the oven for a few minutes, let it infuse and warm a bit, and then I'll stir it together, and then we'll baste it up and get rolling. While I got this out, my hand's dirty. Just thought I would show that nice fat layer on there. Yeah, this should come out really sweet. Alright, there we go. Basted in ghee butter that was roasted in the oven sort of with fresh rosemary to make a rosemary ghee basically. Then coated in smoked paprika and a little bit of fresh ground black pepper. I'm going to throw that on the smoker grill and let that cook, and we'll just keep an eye on her. I've been messing with the fire. I got her kind of sitting around 300. She's a little jumpy, but that's alright. It's a big roast and all. And I'll be keeping an eye on it. If it runs too hot, I'll throw a little more water on, slow her down again. Alright, let's throw this thing on. Yeah. Alright, there we go. Time to start. Yeehaw! Alright. So here we are the next day. I've gotten it down to a nicer smoking level. I did cook the steak last night, but I still haven't gotten used to controlling the speed of the burn in this yet, and it got carried away. This thing was straight up on fire, and I would have got you a clip of it, but I had to put it out so it wouldn't completely burn up. So it's a little charred on the outside, but I did manage to catch it fairly quick, and so now I've been smoking it real slow overnight, and I'm going to smoke it a little longer today and see if we come out with something similar to a jerky. This is why I did not use a grass-fed steak this time, because it's just too expensive to make mistakes with. Once I get this tuned in and figured out a little better, I'll be using higher quality ingredients. Anyway, this is just an update, and I guess I'll give you another update in a while when I pull this off and test it. Anyway, for now, it's been sitting around a little over 100, about 150. That's much closer to where I wanted it. I think I'm going to have to either make charcoal myself with the wood I have, or cut down some really small blocks and feed them little tiny pieces to keep temperatures under control. But anyway, fun little learning curve. Okay, so I took a little slice off of this before, and I tried it. It's pretty tasty. Definitely a little bit of charring on the outside, but I think it's going to make a nice jerky, which is kind of what I was sort of aiming at here. So fire went out again. I had to switch to just primarily green hickory, just to keep that balance and keep temperatures low, as I was really after the smoking part. So I'm going to snag this, pull it in, slice it, and then we'll see what else I might do to make it more like jerky. Just to dry it a bit more, cure it more, and I'll probably add some spices to it. But so far so good. Alright, there we go. And yeah, it's absolutely delicious. Took some work to slice it up, but there is still some moisture in the middle. And I think since I'm going to go toward jerky, I'm going to put some spices on this and then dry it out some more. I don't know if I'll do that on the smoker or maybe just in the oven. We'll see. Okay, so the inside is wetter by far than the outside, so I'm packing a blend of the two together, and I'm mixing cayenne pepper and smoked paprika on each layer. I did the bottom of the pan, and then I'm just going to keep doing it with it. Oh, and also some fresh rosemary every other layer, starting with the bottom. And then I think I'm going to smoke that back on the grill smoker for a little longer and let it dry out a little more and soak up those herbs. I might sprinkle a little salt down on this too. Alright. Nice little low temp fire going. We'll keep smoking it. So I left them out overnight in the smoker smoking, and I brought them in this morning and put them in the oven for maybe half an hour on 170, and I just let them cool down. And pretty dry. Excellent jerky though, very smoky and tasty. So experiment one came out okay. I'll have to play with something else later in the week maybe. Hope you found this interesting or informative. Thanks for watching the Pharmacy Seeds Network. And don't forget, keep your friends close and your farmers closer.